welcome back to the channel. Well, this is a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time now, and as opposed to a lot of my videos where I just bring some guns and come out here and wing it, I actually put a little bit of planning into this one. And before we get started, because I know somebody's going to ask, and for those that are interested, today's cigar is Sancho Panza. I can't remember what size it is. It's like probably about a 48 ring gauge 6-inch cigar when it started out. Pretty good smoke for the price. Came in a sampler pack. But the topic of today's video is AK versus AR. There's always been debates in any world. Mac versus PC, Ford versus Chevy, Toyota versus Honda, you know, anything like that. BMW versus Mercedes. Any world you're going to have controversy and debates. Each side has their pros and cons, and we're going to talk about those today as it pertains to the AK and the AR. Now, the two examples I brought with me today are the Rifle Dynamics AK. This was a Christmas special for last year. They are making one very similar to this in the budget price range, if you can call it budget price range. As far as the Rifle Dynamics is concerned, it is a budget price. You can pick one of these up for about $1450-ish, $1500 these days. And the AR, I have my Palmetto kit that's built on an Anderson lower. And before you go down the comment section and start a war, yes, I know these are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. I've got a cheap AR and an expensive AK, but that's what I've got. I don't really have any hyper expensive ARs, I guess you could call it. But since I built this one, I had the lower sitting around for like 3 years in my safe doing nothing, and Palmetto put this kit, had everything you needed to build the rifle except for sights and the lower for like $2.99, something like that, with free shipping. So I always wanted a basic M4 type of rifle copy, so that's what I got. And I've put about 800 rounds through it so far, maybe closer to 1,000, and it's been 100% reliable. So you can't beat that. And I wanted two head-to-head iron sight rifles. Yes, this one does have the Ultimac on it, but I did take the red dot off. So we're just working with irons today on this gun. And to get another thing out of the way, if you watched my channel before, you watched my videos on this gun, yes, it's still got the wood handguard on it, but I did put the plastic polymer stock back on it. And the reason I did that is it did have the surplus wood set that came with this. Looked great, had some trench art in it, but I put this one back on because the screw back here on the tang kept wallering out. So I'm going to fix that hole, put a wood glue dowel, fix it properly, and then put it back on here. This is just temporary. And I find that having this lightweight stock back here does make this rifle a bit front heavy. But it's not too bad. Okay, first comparison for today. We're going to talk about magazine shape. Now obviously the AK has the curved magazine, or as it's known in some circles, the banana clip. So that is due to just the shape of the round itself. It's more of a tapered round, so that tapered round itself does aid in reliability of the gun. And the AR is more of a straight, it still has a bit of a curve, more of a straight type of magazine. You can get magazines for both guns in metal and polymer. The polymer AR mags are kind of known to be more reliable, I guess you could say, in some circles, more durable. The AK, everybody wants the good old classic metal mags. The plastic polymer mags, for the most part, still have the plastic tabs on them, lockup tabs. So most people use these for range use. That's not to say you couldn't go to war with them or whatever, but most people use them for the range and save these for the apocalypse kind of thing. metal mags. And the difference in mag shape does present an issue, like if you have a load-bearing vest on or like a sling. These you can just pull right out easily. They're pretty much straight. These you can still do that, but they do have that curve, so that does present another not really obstacle, but another variable in the scenario. I don't have a mag pouch for the AR with me today. It's still at the house. But for the AK, I've got this surplus pouch. It's got the belt loops on it, all that good stuff. This will hold 3. And just because of the shape of the magazine itself, you know, you got to have a little more slack in your pouch there just to get them in and out. So the magazine shape, not a huge issue, but still something you have to think about and consider. And sticking with the magazine and ammo itself, AR mags are a lot lighter than AK mags when fully loaded. And that is due to simple physics, gravity. Your standard round for the AR, 223 5.56, has generally either a 55 or 62 grain bullet. These are usually about 120 to 125 grain, depending on the loading. And most of the time you got a steel case. Not a huge weight difference there as opposed to the brass case, but yet another variable. And mag availability. You can pretty much go into any store that sells gun stuff and pick up all the AR mags you want. Right now anyway. A year from now, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that was kind of a different situation there. AK mags, although it has gotten better, I order most of my mags online anyway, so it's not really an issue for me. But if you're going into a store and you're looking for a certain metal magazine, you can usually find Magpul mags all day long for the AK. But anything like this Yugo bolt hold open mag or these Bulgarian polymer mags, unless it's a good specialty local gun store, you're probably not going to find those in like your Academy Sports, Bass Pro, somewhere like that. So for me personally, magazine advantage goes to the AR. Lightweight, it's easier to get in and out of any bags, chest rigs, plate carriers, whatever you might have. So advantage, AR. Now bullet size. Obviously these are virtually identical in height, so not really an issue there. But here you got your 30 caliber. These are 123 grain, I believe, 124. And these are 55 grain, 223. So you got more mass here, but more speed here. So with that, it really depends on what you want, what type of situation you're running it in, and how far out you're generally looking to go. For most people that are running an AK or an AR, if they're shooting a target, whether defensive or other target practice, if they're going beyond 100, 150 yards, that's probably kind of stretching it. Now that's not to say that either of these rifles are incapable of feats of accuracy at distances beyond that, because a lot of people have proven that to be otherwise. I'm confident in both of these guns with iron sights that I could hit, you know, a man-sized steel target at 400 or 500 yards. That really depends on what your use is, what your preference in ballistics are. I'm not going to go into ballistics here. The data's out there. If you want to check that out, you can search that on your own. But for today, we're just going to end it there with bullet talk. Me personally, if it's a close-up or an indoor defensive type of situation, I can see advantages of both, but I would probably lean towards more of a 30 caliber range. Just me personally. I have my own reasons. You may prefer a 223 going 3,000 feet per second, but I'll take something in the 30 caliber going around 2,000 to 2,500, possibly something more in the subsonic range, and we'll get into that in a minute. So ergonomics of the gun. If you're a fan of Clint Smith with Thunder Ranch, then you've no doubt seen the video where he's talking about how God and Eugene Stoner got together when he made the AR. Because when you reload an AR, straight in, yank down, make sure it's in, and then your bolt release is right here. You don't have to slap it. Put it right here where your thumb is. Perfect. Also, safety selector right here. You don't have to do much with your hand as far as change of grip. With the practice, you can do that on the AK as well. But with this, just right here, nothing major. And with the AR, you've got collapsible stock. And yes, I know you can get these for the AK, but this is not a comparison with a modified out AK. It's a comparison with just the standard fixed stock AK. Now I do like the length of pull on a standard Warsaw length AK. It's perfect for me. But there are times if you've got armor, chest rig, whatever on, where you might need to shorten that up a bit. Moving around the house, you want something a little shorter. So, advantage on that one, AR. And now for the AK, yes, for the most part you do have fixed stock. And to manipulate the safety, you do kind of have to take your hand off the grip. But with proper practice, you're coming up, sweep it off anyway. By the time you're on target, your hand's on the grip in position it needs to be. So, you got that there. Charging handle, right there. It's a reciprocating charging handle, obviously. On the AR, it's back here. The old school way to do it is grab on 2 fingers right here. But a lot of people these days are just grabbing on the side, pulling it like that. This is just a standard mil-spec charging handle, which, you know, there's not a whole lot to grab on there, but I can still do it. But on my fighting rifle, home defense AR, I do have a BCM mod 3 or 4 on there, whatever's the medium latch. So let's talk about sight radius on these guns. A lot of people like to say that the AK has a short sight radius because you got your leaf right here. But on the AR, you do have the peep sight back here and this up here, but you're taking your sight radius and just scooting it back on the AR. So essentially, same sight radius, maybe even a little bit longer on the AK for a standard setup. I know some setups are a little shorter, some are a little longer, but sight radius is kind of a neutral position.